What if thriving wasn't about getting life perfect?
But learning to find peace and purpose right in the mess.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Tom, and we walked away from the version of life that looked right to build one that feels alive.
We'll talk about the beauty and the struggle, from parenting and marriage to faith, well-being and travel.
This is The Whole of Us.
So the other day I was asked by a follower, how do we incorporate God into our life?
A good question.
Yeah, it was a great question because I was able to respond and say it's not something we incorporate or sort of make time for, but it is the very essence of how we do life, how we think about the world, how we raise our children and the decisions we make. And in this episode, I just would love to explore how it came to that place because it wasn't always like that. I feel like most of my life, it has been a set of rules.
Yeah.
And it has been a guilt thing. Like if I don't do the right thing, that either the blessing would get removed or I just wanted to be a good girl.
Yeah.
And the last few years, as we've gone on this healing journey, the way I see God has completely changed.
It's pretty profound.
I'm just thinking how hard that would have been if we had both had a different experience. But we've both gone on like the same journey.
It's kind of wild, isn't it? Like coming from really, really different backgrounds of faith. Both strong Christian families, but different expressions of it. And we've both had to undo, and there's this delightful word, deconstruct our faith. And it
terrifies people, that.
It does. And I think that word deconstruction connotates destruction.
Yeah.
And
like a lack of truth or making it up yourself to fit your narrative.
Yeah, totally.
But so when we use the word deconstruct,
it's a careful unpacking of what we've held as true, of what we've believed.
And why.
And being able to sit with each of those parts and go, how does this feel now? How does it look when I look at it through a slightly different lens?
Well, I also think to deconstruct in the way we're talking about, you actually have to have a level of safety.
Yeah.
Because if for us, our whole life, faith has been the underpinning. It's been the foundation. This is the truth. There's no deviation from it. So to look at all of those core things and to ask questions, there has to be a level of trust
with yourself
and that whatever you find out, you'll be okay.
Yeah. And I think this is a really profound thing because as we sort of embarked on blowing our lives up and then starting afresh, we really walked through a process of looking at that identity. And I mean, I'm profoundly grateful for the incredible practitioners that we worked with along that pathway who've helped create safe space. And I guess in that regard, what I mean is something that the guy that I worked with for a long time, he said, my role is to provide an emotionally safe garden for you to take a walk through and to be present with whatever you find inside yourself, knowing that whatever you find, it's okay. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to change me. It's not going to change how much I love you. And it was so much permission to go, I've got someone with me in this process.
Yeah.
I've got someone who wants to see me for me, not for the me that I present or the me that does things or the me that feels broken in all these crazy places, but me.
Yeah, I love this subject so much because it is our purpose for life. Like our relationship with God is everything.
Yeah.
And I think if you were to ask me, but how do you get to that place? I think it is extreme vulnerability, humility, and an honesty, right? I think there was a lot of freedom when I stopped performing in my Christianity.
Oh, man.
When I stopped trying to do all the right things and I actually just realized that God could accept me right where I was.
Yeah.
That healed a lot in me.
Well, I think it took a reframing. And one of the things that I think has profoundly impacted us both is looking at, we've all got images of who we think God is.
Yes.
Like whether we believe in God or don't, we have a picture of who we believe God is. And so often that's this like big man up in heaven with this long white beard who thus saith the Lord. And
not in the circles we run in, though. I would say that's like I would say it's distant.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's this distant heavenly authority that's not connected to our present world. And even if you don't believe in God, you actually probably still have a picture of what that is,
Mm.
or who that is. And I look, we hold beliefs in all sorts of things, but when we step back for a second and went, okay, if we take all those lenses off and look at who does God say he is, and he says he's love, like that is the nature of his very being, is
Mm.
he is love. And so we had these beautiful people who reframed God, and instead of using any nice Christian language around it, went, okay, what does it look like for unconditional love to walk into the room?
Well, because on that thought, I was thinking through how there was a time that God did not feel safe.
Yeah.
He felt unattainable,
Yeah.
felt cruel.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like this constant punishment or this standard I could never live up to.
Yeah.
And inside, I blamed him for a lot.
Oh, man.
And the safety built in relationship was actually an ability to draw closer to God even when I was angry at him.
Yeah.
The ability to hold nuance, that God could be love and he's also a jealous, righteous God, and all the other nuances in that too, right?
Yeah.
Actually provided a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
He is the God that's going to fight for me and take vengeance and,
Yeah.
you know, and he will sit with me in my grief and my pain and be tender towards me.
Yeah.
Suddenly my world opened up to what actually was the truth.
Yeah.
And it was way better than I'd imagined.
Well, it is. And look, it's interesting, even that framing of love and then jealousy and hatred, or not hatred, but this judgment. And I would say, like, hatred or judgment isn't the opposite of love, because love connotates that you are deeply protective. Probably the opposite of love is actually apathy. It's this like
Well, I would say the
unwillingness
opposite of
to
love would be
care.
hatred, though.
Yeah, but it's still
Because
a
we're not
deep
talking about
emotion.
hatred. Like, I don't think God's...
No. So I wouldn't frame God in well, I would say that he hates death.
Yeah, and this is a good time to bring up that we are no experts in this field. And yet we have a story to tell and we have experience with God. And
I think that's one of the interesting
that's why I want to
things.
share it.
Yeah, I had a chat with my brothers the other day, and they were kind of going, well, what do we base our faith off?
What?
No, and this conversation was coming back to, okay, well, sure, the truth of the Bible, and we could say that, but I was going, yeah, but it's actually, I feel like more than that. It comes out of this relationship that we have.
It's both.
And that's it. We were coming to this decision of actually it has to be both. So if we have the written word, and we see this as the living word of God, we don't just see it as any old book, a normal book. This is this is an active, living, breathing thing that we encounter each time we read it. And again, this is probably a difficult one to phrase, and I'm going to put my foot in it, but there's a reality that we can read and know a lot about God. And I think we had this conversation a little bit the other day of, we feel like we've gotten really good at knowing about God, but actually knowing God and letting God know us, that's a relationship.
Yes.
And that is what the book describes. That's what I like reading the Old and New Testament. I see a God that deeply, passionately, always and forever wants to love us and know us and have us know him.
It could be very easily taken to our viewpoints become self-focused and selfish. But the opposite of that is a Christianity that's performative and it's selfish.
Totally. And
so both sides of that story are actually selfish, because the performative, I've got to get it all right Christian is doing it to earn the love. And it's a self-focused purpose. So I'm actually feeling nervous talking with you about this, to know that it could get public. And I think the reason is people have very strong opinions around God, number one. And particularly if you're a Christian, you have strong views about what is right or wrong. And so there is enormous amounts of error or ways we could put our foot in it. And I can feel the trigger in me of wanting to control what comes out of your mouth, or at least edit it out afterwards. The reality is, can we not have an open, vulnerable conversation where we wrestle with it? Like where we wrestle with what our beliefs are, what we're picking up when we're reading the Bible, because there are different interpretations. I do believe truth. I believe that the Bible is truth, and I'm no theologian. So I can instantly feel I don't want to talk about this because I'm not an expert in this.
Yeah.
But what I am an expert in is my experience with God,
Yeah.
what I've read, my relationship with Jesus, the testimony after testimony of his faithfulness, the tried and true experiences living and walking with a God who was once very distant to me and now is in everything I do.
Yeah. Well, I suppose to frame that then, do we feel that God is actually big enough to deal with the things that we don't know or to deal with us getting it wrong?
Mm.
And I think this is probably one of the things
Because
that changed it for us so much.
don't you think it's like these arguments as Christians we get into is a pride thing?
Well, it
It's
becomes about us. It becomes about I'm right and you're wrong.
Well, maybe it's just a desperation to feel safe. Because if you rock what I believe truth to be, then what else may be untrue?
Yeah. Which again is missing what
The heart of it.
the heart of God, and missing his heart for actually just relationship. And relationship is so messy. Like I think about us as a married couple, and we miss each other all the time, and we want to show up perfectly for each other, and we want to honor each other perfectly, and have conversations where we don't trigger each other or we don't say the wrong thing, but we have grace for each other.
Is that like I don't think I try not to trigger you. If I'm honest, I'm just you can handle you and I can handle me. But yes, we want to come in kindness.
We want to honor each other in kindness. And so I go, okay, well, if I want to do that for my wife, this person who I've chosen to do life with.
Keep in mind that you're not talking about another human. You're talking about God.
That's it. How much more would this person who is love want to do that with us? How much more would he want to extend grace for where we miss it? How much more would he want to extend grace when he's like, no, you're totally off the mark there, mate. Like, that's not my character at all, but I still love you. I got you.
It's so, imagine how much we don't know. Like, I think the last few years we have just met God on a different level.
Well, I think we've met God in places and in people that were totally unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah. And you probably know this story, but you're talking about I'm
talking about literally everywhere around the world. There were countless people that we met who
could have been angels.
A face, like a side of God's face that I had never seen in anybody else. There was kindness that was shown to us by complete strangers that we just went, what was that?
It comes back to that decision of, Lord, I don't know the world. I'm terrified in a post-COVID world. I don't want to travel.
Yeah.
It looks scary. And God being like, but I know the world and I love it.
Yeah.
Our experience of and our perspective shift of what we think about different cultures, countries has completely transformed because of this. We've met God in different people throughout the world and seen people worship in different ways all over the world, and even seen the expression of God's love towards people who don't know him and have no desire to know him. There was like this deep compassion and grace for the lost. And like, I'm just thinking our desperation in souls for God has completely changed. Yes, we believe we should be sharing the gospel because it's hope and it's, we want people to experience what we now have. At the same time, you see God's radical acceptance of people. It's not dismissing him. I can already hear people arguing and being like, we're to call our brothers out.
But it's call our brothers out. It's
there's
not
a
call
relationship.
out the random person on the street and go, you're evil, you're doing this thing.
Well, I mean, there also is right and wrong, right?
Totally.
So that is confronting to people. Like, if according to what we believe is right, we're calling people out, that doesn't have a relationship.
No. But it's, I guess, maybe the heart behind with which it's coming. And I suppose the contrast to seeing God in so many people around the world was also seeing the desire in people for unconditional love.
Yes.
And I frame it that way because when we frame it that way, it's a common human experience. Like, all of us have the desire to be seen and loved.
Yeah.
And if we say we don't, I think we're kidding ourselves. Because
there's some great big protector keeping us from that.
And I know, like, I had kind of that protector in many senses that I don't need to be seen.
Well,
But
but then I'm also thinking about how it's external validation versus internal validation.
yeah. But I guess to get back to that point, like we all desire to be seen and known.
Mm.
And really the only person who can truly see and truly know us is God.
What do you think it took to get to this place?
Oh man. I think a little bit of where we started, it took me being able to actually see me first
Mm.
and actually be honest with who I was and the internal world that was there that I'd tried to mask for a long time. And it took reframing how I viewed God. And
What do you mean by that? Like, how do you
yeah,
reframe how you see
yeah,
God?
it took beginning to understand that God didn't actually want initially anything more from me than relationship with me. And there's this beautiful book I read called Beholding,
Mm.
and it profoundly impacted my life because at the time that I was reading it, I was broken.
Mm.
I had nothing left to give emotionally and physically. I was like on the floor going, like, what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
what is the point? And in that place of reading this book on beholding, the concept being we can sit and look at God who's looking back at us, looking at him. And that's his happiest place.
That can be enough.
That can be enough. And when I had nothing left to give, it felt like fraudulent to be like,
Yeah.
I can just sit here and just look at you and you look at me and you're not expecting anything of me. You're not asking anything of me. You're not like saying, all right, get up now. It's been long enough. Like off we go. Let's the next thing now. He's just like, I just want to sit here.
Well, as you're talking, I'm like, how many people listening are just so weary and are exhausted and are sick of trying and feeling disappointed and overwhelmed and just knowing the journey we've walked, that vulnerable place of just getting to the end of your rope and God would be like, hi,
Yeah.
I'm here
Yeah.
and I don't need anything from you.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the more I started to see myself as well, the more I was like, oh, but what about this God? And he's like, yeah, I saw that ages ago. I've always seen that. I'm not worried. And it was
Mm.
just this kindness. And I've just got this song that Jonathan Helser sings. And the line in it is, the one who knows us best is the one who loves us most.
Mm.
It's just like, oh,
Doesn't that wreck you though? Because we spend our life running from the
here we
reality of
are.
who we are,
Yeah,
the
hiding it.
brokenness and the crappiness. And it's like God saw all of it and he still loves us. And is that not enough to shift your perspective on everything?
Yeah. But I think we actually need to let that impact us.
Yeah, not gloss past it.
Because we're really good at doing that.
Well, then it actually maybe takes a sitting and being able to recognize your imperfection and sit with that. Like
Yeah.
sit with the messy parts of us that are unforgivable to people, that are shameful, that are all of the things, and even in that realize that God still.
Yeah. Well, I think it's moments like recognizing that we can actually bring our anger to God. We can even bring our anger at God to God.
Yeah.
And he's big enough.
Yeah. It's like a little kid screaming at his parent and just
And
in
then
so much
standing
pain.
there. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking through a ton of examples of what that experience was like.
Yeah. I mean, I've just got that cruise ship story in my head of,
I've got the one where our marriage was falling apart.
oh man, we can go many directions. Talk me through that one.
I'm just thinking about when we first came back. We'd spent a year traveling the world. We came back.
Yeah.
Should I go there or no?
Yeah, let's do it.
And already feel emotional. It was the lowest I have been in a very long time.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I was losing it at you. I was so angry at everything. I felt incredibly unsafe. I felt very frightened and scared. We didn't have a home to come to. We were bouncing around. There was a lot of input, a lot of opinions. It felt a little bit like I was translucent.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't hold in my own opinions and thoughts. They were just going and coming back, and everybody else's was going and come back. Like there was no boundary, there was no safety within myself. And that is a terrifying place to be. And I was acting out a lot in our marriage. Like I was losing the plot a lot of times. A little spark would happen and I would ping like way out of my window of tolerance, like a child, like screaming on a door. And when I would lose it, there would be so much shame.
Yeah.
I wasn't swearing at you or anything like that, but I was raising my voice and I was getting really angry and I could not calm down.
Yeah.
I just wanted out of everything.
And because you were in so much pain, you were effectively causing a lot of pain around you.
And people were noticing.
Yeah.
And I was unable to hide it because we were in different people's homes and I did not know what to do.
Yeah.
And felt so incredibly alone. And it felt like my worst fear had come true. That people were actually now glimpsing the real me. That was cruel at times, that would lose it, that could speak harshly and mean and biting, and it was ugly. And I remember feeling really hopeless in that place. Like if this is my worst fear, that people have finally seen the person who tried to be the good girl her whole life, and I can no longer contain it, I'm broken inside, then what is the point?
Yeah.
Like I lost. Like no matter how good I could possibly be, that is now tarnished. And I think it was in that place that I met God and I felt like his overwhelming love in my messiest. Like I've done some crazy things. Before we met, I was right down a fun track. And
fun in the least fun sense.
It was so traumatic, but I made really bad choices.
Yeah.
And as for a Christian girl, poor choices. But this felt different. This felt like the core of me was no longer worthy and no longer worth loving. And how do you bounce back from that when you look at yourself and you realize there's nothing good in you? Obviously, that's very black and white language. We were very triggered at the time. But I remember thinking, and actually I was talking to my counselor at the time, and she just said to me, "What are you talking about?" I said, I'm so, I was all the things. She's like, that is the moment when you are at your worst, when it looks the ugliest, when you're just so seemingly unlovable that God rushes in, and actually the people who love you surround you and go, actually,
you are lovable.
You are lovable. And I think that was a big shift in me, because suddenly, not that we go out and try to make mistakes and do the wrong thing, but it was suddenly like, wait a second, you're telling me that no matter what I do, God's love for me doesn't change? It was also depressing because it meant that my whole life trying to be so good and perfect didn't change how much God loved me too.
Yeah.
So it was like but in that moment, it was relief. That there is nothing I can do to increase God's love for me, and there's nothing I can do to take it away from me. He loves me exactly where I am right now. And from that place, there was an ability to trust and be like, wait, you see the good in me still. I was thinking how often in my life I have desperately tried to make people believe in God and do the right thing, right?
Convince them of his love for them.
And actually, what I learned is that when we accept people where they're at, that's actually loving them. It's not trying to change them.
Yeah.
It's sitting with them in the mess.
Yeah.
And I feel like, when you look at the Bible and I look at truth and things like that, for sure, there are things that we want to be living a certain way. But that all becomes almost the outward of your heart when you're in love with someone and when you feel loved by someone.
Yeah.
Like, I am not trying to be a good girl to earn a love anymore. I'm trying to make good decisions for my life and be obedient to where he wants us to be, simply because I delight in him.
Yes.
And I feel his delight in me.
Yeah.
The way and the faithfulness of God over the last few years, physically protecting us, but emotionally shielding us, has been
profound.
Yeah, I don't know how we could have done it without God. Like, the redemption of our marriage has come down to us both having an experience with a everlasting God, with love.
But unrelenting love.
Fierce. It's so passionately, like earth-shattering, oh, it's not the right word.
No.
It's a little difficult to articulate. And I'm not trying to convince anyone who's listening of something, but I'm just saying in the honesty and the vulnerability and really not holding back. Like it's when I'm journaling and I'm like, oh, I feel a bit sad or, just surface level. And that's, fine. But there are some days that I'm like, okay, we got to lean in a bit deeper. Oh, I actually believe this lie about myself. Oh, I believe that about God. Like it's really unpacking why we believe what we believe. And I think that's when we're talking about the deconstruction. There were things I believed about God that God never said.
There's plenty. I mean, there was a book we read, Leaving and Finding Jesus.
Well, you read it. I never read it.
Yeah, actually, you didn't.
I should read it.
You should read it. It's precious because it's this idea of we're leaving the image that we have of God and of church and of Jesus, and when we can actually leave all the lies, all the misconstrued values that we hold, we get to meet Jesus as he really is, and like it's been profound. We're reading this this beautiful narrative with the girls at the moment of these animals that go throughout eternity, and they're kind of God's helpers. And the book we're currently reading is Jesus' life. And each time I'm reading these stories of seeing Jesus show up in these situations, I'm in tears because the love that he holds for each person, for each interaction, the kindness that he shows. And I think that word kindness has felt so true over the last few years. We're just seeing the kind, slow, gentle, and passionate and jealous and loud love of Jesus in different moments at different times. It's
I'm thinking just while you're talking that sounds terrifying. Like if you have been so hurt and have such big protectors up and do not trust that love can be that selfless, then that type of love is suffocating. And so I'm thinking through like the further step of how did we allow cracks in our hearts enough to risk being loved so much?
Yeah.
I think part of it began when we looked at us. And it's not this like, oh my gosh, I'm watching Love is Blind. It's very tasty. It's that's the wrong word, but I'm watching the reunion and this is embarrassing, but it's real. So we push on. But like every person who did not find love in that show is like, I'm working on me. Actually, I'm just working on me, and I think it's a cop out. Working on me.
Oh yeah.
It's selfish.
Yeah.
And we've been there, I get it. But
Totally.
like this whole I'm finding myself, I'm like, no, I don't think it's about leaning or this. I do think there are seasons of introspection that are necessary. We've literally just come out of that time. Yeah. I think it's helpful for healing. It's just not sitting right that. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's curious. I
think because it feels very isolating.
Yeah. And look, I think this is probably the part of the way with which we lent into that introspection was always within the framing of what does it look like to bring unconditional love into this space? Because when we're leaning into me for me,
it wasn't a self-love.
It's not a self-love.
Although it is loving ourselves, it's not a selfish love.
No. We don't invite love from ourselves. We invite unconditional love.
Because that sort of pure love refines us.
Yeah.
And it challenges us and it keeps us honest.
And it cannot come from us.
Yeah, because we're human.
We're human. We're innately going to show up messy. And
so if the self-love journey you are on is about you meeting your needs,
loving you, it's...
I mean, that's important too.
Absolutely.
But it runs dry.
Yeah, quickly. And
is that true? I'm just thinking through this. It's making sense to me because I'm like, there is a difference between what we've experienced as we've done this healing journey that was not self-focused, although it was. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is a really hard thing to articulate as well, because I think the opposite extreme of that is what we so often see in the Christian faith, which is die to self. leave the past in the past and move forwards to greater glory.
I think the argument is that why would you go back and try and heal all those things when God has already paid for it? So let's just move forward. But as we've come to see, your past, your wounds
defines your future.
It absolutely. The decisions you make, the people you meet will come out of unresolved trauma because you have protectors up. So actually the most selfless thing you can do is go and heal those things bravely, painfully, and then be free to walk in. And also if you say had unforgiveness or something or deep pain there, you're not free. You're carrying that thing with you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather look at it, heal it, let love into it, let it be transformed, and then on? You can't just...
Well, I think that the less willing we are to look at things, the more those things are likely to dictate our lives. And I say this like, if we're not willing to confront our own beliefs or our own understanding of something, we're going to continue to walk into the same mistakes. So unless I start to realize that touching a stove is hot and it will burn my hand, I'm going to keep burning my hand. And I use a really simple analogy like that because so often we're believing a lie about something, but we're like, no, I've got this like new thought, new belief, but that old thing is still sitting in us. And until we're actually able to look at it and go, like,
that's the truth. Purge that thing out.
Truth. Yeah.
So I see Christians talk about forgetting the past and moving forward.
On, because our future is in Jesus and our past is all done away with, and Christ has paid for everything in the past.
Yes.
And like, yes, to a degree, but it's not about forgetting our past. It's about reframing it through different eyes, through Jesus' eyes.
Transforming it.
Exactly.
And to transform it, you need to look at it.
Exactly.
Sit in it, grieve it,
cannot
experience
ignore it. We actually need to look at it.
Well, because the concept is if you don't, it does dictate your future.
Yeah.
Because our pain and our trauma create protectors, create ways that we mitigate our pain, or like even just truths we believe.
Yeah.
It shifts how we think about the world.
And the crazy thing is, so much of it comes back to what happened to us as a kid. And it's not that everything is to tie back and blame our parents and all those things.
It's got nothing to do with that. Because you could have had incredible parents, but your belief of something was distorted.
Or some small thing happened and a lie crept in, or a distortion of truth crept in, and we started to protect ourselves.
Because we're trying to make sense of it as a child.
Yeah. And look, it's even interesting viewing this through this kind of physiological lens of our bodies are wired to protect us.
Yeah.
It makes sense
Survival.
that we do this. It makes sense that our brain would go, this is dangerous, I need to act this way.
And I don't think it's like, let's unpack all our childhood traumas and let's do that. And I think the kindness in this, that this is a lifelong journey. Yeah. You never make it to the healing at the end and go, cool, we made it. Now life is great.
Yeah.
So it is this process and a journey. And I think that has also shifted how I see God. Yeah. He's in no rush.
No.
Love takes time and it's gentle. And the more we've seen that side of God and done our work, it's been this slow me, him, like him always in it. When I say me, it's me going back to him and then pinging away a bit and then coming back to him as I'm learning to trust him and see the world the way he sees the world. So we're transforming and renewing our minds, right?
Yeah. It is the work of discipleship. It's the work of following in Jesus' way.
And it takes time.
Yes. Yeah, to think that we can just chat GPT all the answers and happy days. It's like, no.
Well, it's lived experience as much as it is, reading our Bible, which is also experience, right?
And
we can feel things.
And like having an understanding of like even the context of the Bible and how to read it properly and all those things which are beautiful, but it's that plus relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And just God doesn't have an agenda. So I'd go back then. I had a really cool encounter with God on the way from Europe to America. To America on that repositioning cruise.
Come back to that story, yeah.
Chile?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And so we had this crazy, awesome deal. It's like a miracle. We had a $16 flight out of Cairo to get on a cruise ship that was costing
us $2,000 for 16
Australian
days.
for 16 days.
1,500 US or 1,400
Or less
US
than that.
for, yeah.
Depends on the dollar, but
Yeah.
yes, over 16 days, it includes everything, right?
For 4 of us. It's wild.
Yes, and there's no internet. We've got these 16 days, and I feel like God says to me, okay, your season is changing.
And we've just done a year sort of in Europe, North Africa, Middle East of a lot of trauma processing. Like
It
we've
was
been
so
through so much
intense.
messiness. We were doing this life consulting training out of the States and intentionally, and this was an intentional process of working through our messiness and
Yeah.
holding it with that unconditional love
Well,
and
understanding our
grace.
story, and it had
Yeah.
so many, like we did a lot of somatic therapy.
Yeah. And also part of that was deconstructing some of what we believed about God.
Yes. So we get on this boat and I hear God say this and I feel gutted. Gutted because I finally feel like we've found our feet a little bit in all of it.
We were getting good at doing that, like, whole processing thing.
Well, I think we were coming out of the acuity of trauma and it ebbed and flowed. Things got worse and better at the same time once we got to America. But the grief in me was looking back over the past year, and I'm a huge journaler. I journal most days, and I had done maybe 10 pages the whole year of some of the darkest times of our life, of
Yeah.
uncertainty, of fear, of being away from all of our support system,
Yeah.
of our marriage
Oh, we nearly
falling
got divorced at
apart.
one point.
It like we laugh, but it was so incredibly
intense.
dark and scary. And I just couldn't, I had no energy. I just could not write things down. I didn't want to process. I was just existing, and coming from a background where reading the Bible is, the most important thing. You have
to.
to, and you pray and you do a lot of do things, right?
Yeah,
And I
and
just
have
couldn't.
tos and shoulds and
And I just felt like this reckoning with God of grief of we had come before we left, we were on our knees
yeah.
praying. We were at it sounds like the whole thing is just low, but it was just another life-changing moment where
Yeah.
we spent many, many, many nights in worship and on our knees, and just looks like a very tangible faithfulness, right? Like it
Yes.
looked,
Yep.
not that anybody else saw it, but in ourselves, we knew that there was nothing left on the table. Like it was everything before God and felt very sacrificial. Whereas the following year had been just movement, like one step after one step. It didn't feel as intentional. And I feel God, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, God. I wish I'd been more faithful. I wish I'd journaled and just come to you more. Like it looked prettier. And he just said to me, what are you talking about? This has been my favorite year with you.
Yeah.
Because it was just a wrestle. It was in the whispers in my heart at bedtime and waking up in a new place every morning going, God, I'm just scared, or God, help me, or what do I do next, God? It was broken sleep where I would wake up and just feel afraid, but I would cry out to God. It did not look pretty. And it was the most pleasing thing for God. And I was like, really, Lord? Like, all you want from me is me.
Yeah.
And yes, there is an overflow, like we talk about, being a witness and like all the other elements that it is as we are Christians. But it was really very simple. I am to love God and allow him to love me, and in the overflow, love everyone around me.
Yeah.
And I experienced that, and I did nothing to deserve it.
Yeah.
It's grace.
It's the story of the gospel.
So I think I share this just to give insight into some of the journey of how imperfect it's looked and how messy it's looked, but how beautiful it's been.
Yeah.
And maybe to encourage the process, and wherever you're at, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
love is tender and love is slow, and he's not in a rush.
No.
I think at the moment I just see his eyes at us and we're just like clinging. And that's okay. We're allowed to figure this out with God.
Yeah.
I think we've got to figure it all out and then come to God. And I'm like, he's right there in the mess with us.
Yeah.
It's so much kinder than you can imagine.
Yeah. And it's even interesting, that framing of love won't let you stay in the mess for too long. Love will sit with you in it and then go, okay, it's time to go now.
Yeah.
Let's just stand up, and then we'll do a little bit.
Because love wants the best for you.
Yeah. And it's interesting, even I'm just thinking through how we heard the other day, like our faith summed up into know God, to be known by God, and then to make God known to others. And I think I caught what you said before of it's actually to love God to be loved by God and really truly loved by God and to allow that to impact us.
Yeah.
And then that love to overflow
Yeah.
out to others. And
Yes.
it's because that even takes the emphasis off, I need you to know about Jesus compared to, I'm going to love you like Jesus. I'm actually going to step into your life in a tangible, practical way, not with judgment, not with this is what you need to know and you need to know truth and this is what it.
I'm going to help you experience him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that like we always say, everyone says that, like when you write, like, talk is cheap. Like, show me.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that's like faith without work, is dead.
Yeah.
It's
So anyway, lots to think on in this conversation, and something we haven't talked a lot about
no, but something that
is the
it's
most
not
important
something
thing.
that we just blend into our lives. It's and again, where that question started us off, like we don't just integrate God into our lives. He is our life.
Yeah. Hope you have a wonderful week. Talk
So
soon.
much love.
Bye.